Hi, this is Allie of the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we're going to do part 6 of our series on self-love. And in this video, I kind of want to just bring it all together, put it in really practical, down-to-earth steps you can take terms, so that you kind of feel like when you walk away from this video that you have like a plan that you can start to implement in your life right now to help you start moving in the direction of returning to living from this place of self-love. So if you haven't watched all the previous videos, I highly recommend that you do that, and there's links to all of them down below, so you can just go through all of them and then come to this video at the end. And so basically how I want to end this series is just by saying that first things first is, for most, starting out on the path of starting to live like you love yourself is going to be like really, really hard. Just for the first few days, the first kind of few times you try to change your habits. Because the thing is, most of us have been living so far out of alignment with self-love that we're really, really, really in the habit of living in a way that that doesn't align with self-love. We're really used to pushing ourselves. We're really used to judging ourselves. We're really used to finding our value in working really hard and in what we produce and how we look and you know, kind of all of this outward stuff, and we're just not, and we're really, really used to running away from our feelings and running away from what we think, and we're really used to numbing out, and I just want to say that, you know what, I totally get it, okay, because I used to be the kind of person that I just think if there was a poster child for self-hate, I was that. I absolutely rejected every part of myself. I hated my body, I hated my emotions, I hated the way I thought, I hated the way I acted, I hated the way I came across in the world. I truly believed that I was only valuable if I was producing stuff. I truly believed that I hated weekends. Because when I didn't have something to do, when I didn't have a job, when I didn't have a mission, you know, like all of my self-hate and self-doubt and worry and all of this stuff would come to the surface, and I would struggle so much. And when I first started on my path of acting like I loved myself, it was excruciating. At first, you know, it was like it was going against absolutely everything I fundamentally believed at the time. It was going against absolutely everything I fundamentally felt about myself at the time. And it was acting in a way that was totally out of alignment with how I really thought and how I really felt. And so if that's how this feels for you, if listening to these videos and telling yourself that you're valuable even though you're not doing anything, and telling yourself that you're worthy of love and that you're worthy of acceptance just because you exist, and telling yourself that your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions are valuable and wonderful, and telling yourself that your body's in alignment, like if all of this stuff feels like really, really difficult to do, or like I'm talking to everybody except you, or if it feels like I'm punching you in the face when I tell you this kind of stuff, just know that that's totally normal at the beginning, because the thing is, you're absolutely counteracting and going against and coming up against foundational beliefs and foundational, you know, stuff that you've been telling yourself probably for years and years and years. And so I just want to say that at the beginning, it's going to feel awful. It's not going to feel good to love yourself. It's not going to feel good to act in alignment with loving yourself, because that's out of alignment with what you truly believe about yourself at this moment. And so the other thing I want to say is, in order to shift your beliefs, in order to shift the way that you really believe about yourself and the way that you think about yourself, in order to shift yourself back to that place, to return to a place where you truly, honestly love yourself consciously, it's going to take you changing the way that you behave and changing the way that you act. And oftentimes self-love starts from the outside in. Okay? So what I'm saying is, don't wait till it feels good to nourish yourself. Don't wait till it feels right to do all these self-love things. Because the thing is, for most of us, it's never going to feel good until you start doing it, right? Like, you're going to start doing it, and that's going to start changing your perception of yourself, and then it's going to feel good. So don't wait till taking a bubble bath and taking a break and sitting in meditation feels wonderful and feels like the thing you really want to do, because at this point, if you're not at a place where you love yourself, those things are not going to feel good, because they're going to be out of alignment with the vibration that you're used to keeping. And so that's why I wanted to make this last video, and I wanted to say this, is that, you know what, it's not going to feel good at the beginning. And that's why the last thing I have to say to you is, take it in small steps, but do it anyways. Okay? So when it feels like crap to sit in meditation, do it anyways. Just sit there for 5 or 10 minutes. Okay? When it feels like crap to look at yourself in the mirror and look yourself in the eyes and tell you that you love you, do it anyways. Okay? When it feels awful to just sit there and not judge yourself, when you're so used to judging yourself for everything that you do, and you notice that you're judging yourself, and then you decide to stop, and you just are going to say, okay, it's all right, I love myself right now, and that feels terrible, do it anyways. Okay? Because this, you need to pattern interrupt. And as much as this might seem ridiculous, for many of us, we need to fake self-love till we make self-love. Because the thing is, you're not really faking it. You're starting to act in alignment with the fundamental truth. Your brain hasn't caught up. Your heart is already there. Okay? So in your heart, you already love yourself. In your heart, you're already at a place of self-love. But your mind is the one that's not quite caught up with that yet. And it's the mind that has perceived the world and has believed all of these things the world tells us about ourselves, and has blah, 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 that's gotten us so far away from our natural state of self-love. So, feel what you feel like crap, feel like it's the worst thing in the world, and do it anyways. Okay? So, I'll give you a couple of examples from my life just to maybe make more sense. So, when I was first starting on this path, like, I was the kind of person that just drilled myself. Like, I always had a project. I was always working on something, cleaning, cooking, shopping, walking, exercising, blah, 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 blah. I never took a minute to just rest. And so my body would crash every couple of months. And eventually my sister came to me, and she basically just kind of sat me down. She was like, you know what, like, when are you going to stop doing this? When are you going to start taking care of yourself? Because you talk about this, you know about how to take care of yourself, you eat a really good diet, you exercise, blah, 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 but you don't rest. You don't ever enjoy anything. You don't ever take any time off. You can't enjoy anything because you're always on to the next thing. You're always worried about the next thing. You know, you never take time to just relax and enjoy and take care of yourself. And she's like, you know, and the other thing too is, like, I know that you eat well because you think you have to be thin to be lovable. And I know that you exercise because you think you have to be thin to be lovable. It's not actually even self-care. It's just another thing that you're using to flog yourself. So she just was, like, really real with me. And she's just like, you know what, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not acting like you love yourself. And when are you going to do it? Because, like, you talk about it all the time, but you don't actually do it. And I finally just was like, okay, she's right. Like, I need to actually do this. I need to practice what I preach. So the first thing that I could think of that was a loving act towards myself was giving myself, like, 15 minutes to play Sudoku in the middle of the afternoon one day. And I kind of, like, I put it off and put it off and put it off, and I thought about it for a few days, and then one day I was just like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to, like, I'm just going to be not productive for like 15 minutes today and just play a game of Sudoku in the middle of the afternoon, even though I know, you know, Marcus is at work and he's working and I should be working and everyone else is working and blah, blah, blah. So I did it. I sat down, I played a game of Sudoku, and it felt terrible, right? The first few times it didn't feel good. I felt guilty. I felt terribly guilty. I felt like, oh my God, like, who am I to be doing this? There are starving children in the world, blah, 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 blah. My mind, all these things. But then eventually, I got to this place where I did it. I would go and do my pleasurable activity for the day. So if that was Sudoku, that'd be great. If it was maybe watching an episode of Glee or something, just not productive, not helping myself become a better person, just something that I enjoyed. And eventually I got to this place where I could do it without feeling guilt. And then it all snowballed from there. Okay, so what I'm saying is just take the smallest step that you can take towards acting in a way that's self-love. So that you don't need to be productive, you don't need to be doing all these things to be valuable and lovable, that you can just do something that you enjoy because you enjoy it, that's nourishing and loving for yourself. And do it anyways, even though it feels like crap for the first couple of times, because it's going to. But I'm just saying that as you continue to go along, it will start to transform you, it will start to transform your life, and the path will carry you. Okay, so that's my series on self-love. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. And if you have any requests for anything else for me to talk about, I'd love to take those, and I'll talk to you later.